Hello. Jairo,
So yeah,
okay, Patrick, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, please.
I covered the impeachment trial inside of the session hall. It's quite interesting. It's my first time covering an impeachment trial. Well, the first day of the impeachment trial, there's already a tension, particularly with the discussion of the senator judges pertaining particularly with the election of a presiding officer. If you can recall, prior to this week's, before this, there was a motion adopted by the Senate allowing a senator other than the Senate president to sit as a presiding officer. So the session started with a motion to elect presiding officer, and immediately the Cayetano siblings resisted that idea, saying na hindi ito proper, at yung question nila yung legality of electing a presiding officer other than the Senate President. But ultimately, Senator Chis Escudero, as we already heard weeks before, na siya yung planong i-install as Senate President, as a presiding officer. But then, yun nga, eventually he was elected. But then, yung leading up to that, we saw tension. Interesting yung mga statements ng the Cayetano faction dito. So, kanina merong sinabi si Alan Peter Cayetano, which seems like patama doon kay Senate President Win Gatchalian, saying na since he is more than capable as a Senate President, why not siya yung mag-preside nitong impeachment trial. So, I think yung statement niya na yun comes also with the context na napatalsik si Alan Peter Cayetano bilang Senate President, at yung pumalit sa kanya ay si Senator Win Gatchalian. And yung quite contentious din tong naging palitan ng Senate leadership dito sa Senado, kasi nga lumipat yung mga kaalyado ni Alan Peter Cayetano dito sa Gatchalian block, namely si Senator Joel Villanueva and now si Senator Chis Escudero nga, na naging ultimately presiding officer for this impeachment trial.
Yes. And Patrick, yun nga, ang daming unknowns, ang daming unknown variables heading to today's trial. Actually, kanina parang tumawel ng higit isang oras, sumabot ba ng 2 oras?
15 minutes.
Yung diskusyon doon pa lang sa
Presiding
oo,
officer,
sa election ng presiding officer. And actually, we're expecting na abutin tayo hanggang hating gabi today if ever sana nagkaroon na rin ng presentation of witnesses. But of course, that didn't happen because isasabina pa lang ng impeachment court, or inapprove nila yung subpoena for the first 2 witnesses. They are the officials of the National Bureau of Investigation that will expound on the apparent threats made by Vice President Sara Duterte against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Alam mo, John, dito sa Senate, ang conversation, syempre, lalo pat unang araw ng trial, parang sino ba yung nakuha ng upper hand, sino ba yung, kumbaga parang nanalo on day 1 of the trial. And it seems like the prosecution has the burden to prove that they didn't necessarily lose the first day of the trial. Of course, it is a court of public opinion still after all. So, yun nga yung kailangang sagutin, or sinagot na actually ng prosecution after the press conference. How do they address perceptions that they lost day 1 of the impeachment trial given the number of impeachment court rulings that were unfavorable to them? Una dyan, yung pag-set ng conviction threshold to 16. Although, we were already getting feelers in the morning that the prosecution is no longer relying on a lower conviction threshold. Kanina nung umaga, bago yung simula ng trial, pag tinatanong mo ang prosecution team, ang spokespersons, if they, what's their stand on the conviction threshold, they would say that, oh, we're ready regardless, ready kami to convince 16 senators. That's what the prosecution spokespersons were saying. This is a slight contrast from statements made by members of the prosecution weeks back na they were floating the idea of lowering the conviction threshold dahil nga may mga non-functioning senators. So doon pa lang sa decision ni impeachment presiding officer Escudero, medyo dehado na yung prosecution. And then, nagkaroon pa ng another face-off between impeachment trial lead prosecutor Jinky Luistro and Sheila Season of the defense team patungkol doon sa request ng prosecution for the immediate arraignment of Vice President Sara Duterte. But the defense team called it a waste of time. And the impeachment presiding officer, si Senator Escudero, denied the request of Jinky Luistro, saying that yung individual reading of articles will only be made before senator judges vote on the impeachment articles. And sabi rin ni Escudero, yung enter daw ng guilty or not guilty plea, it only takes place when the respondent fails to file an answer to the impeachment complaint. And the camp of Vice President Sara Duterte filed an answer, although answer ad Cotelum to, ibig sabihin, filed with caution. So parang they still want to maintain their rights while answering the allegations of the prosecution. Ngayon, kanina, nung kausap natin ang prosecution sa press conference, they were saying that they just wanted to place it on record kung ano yung official plea ni VP Sara Duterte sa complaint at para daw mas maging organized ang proceedings. Tapos yung pangatlong issue, yung tungkol nga sa BIR box, because for some time now, the prosecution is insisting that the BIR box containing presumably the tax records of Vice President Sara Duterte should be opened here at the impeachment court. Kahit nung pre-trial proceedings, yan yung sinasabi nila. But that didn't happen, and worse, Escudero ordered the return of the BIR box to the BIR. Escudero reason na wala namang daw lawful order na in-issue ang impeachment court for the box to be turned over to the Senate at this point. Aminado si Congresswoman Jinky that she was surprised by this decision by the impeachment court. But she also said na baka naman nag-iingat lang ang Senate impeachment court. Again, this stems from concerns that opening the box would violate the National Internal Revenue Code. Kahit nga sa House ay hindi binuksan ng mambabatas yung box during its clarificatory hearing dahil nga nag-iingat pa rin. So ganun yung mga rulings na seemingly unfavorable to the prosecution. But Jinky Luistro is saying that they feel victorious on day one. Of course, they're going to say that. But there's a lot of uncertainty heading to day 2, day 3 kung ano yung ipoproject ng prosecution na strength. Again, maalala natin a few weeks back, ang prosecution, they faced these rumors, especially Congresswoman Jinky Luistro, that kinain siya ng buhay ng defense, specifically Attorney Sheila Season. So ngayon yung unang pagkakataon na nakita natin live yung exchange. And Jairo, you covered the defense team press con. Sila ba? Did they think that they won or they got the upper hand on the first day of the trial?
Alam mo, Dwight, the defense strategy kasi is to be very congenial. That is very, on brand with the brand of the Duterte politics na caring sila, na sila yung naaapi, na sila yung laging underdog. And if you hear Attorney Poa, Michael Poa, speaking laging ang kanyang argument or laging kanyang sinasabi ay sila ay laging rumerespeto sa mga proseso. So when we ask him after the first day of the trial during the press conference if sa tingin ba nila nanalo sila given the 3 motions nga na hindi na basically sila yung pinaboran nun at this point, sabi niya ay they don't want to assume and they don't want to think that way. They're just focused on the trial itself, and that's easy to say because they're the defense. After all, they don't have the burden of proof. All they need to do is to cast doubt on the allegations, cast doubt on the evidence being presented by the prosecution. They have the easier job here, so to speak, because the burden of proof, again, yung trabaho po na patunayan itong mga alegasyon na ito ay wala kay VP Sara, kundi nasa prosecutors po ng House of Representatives. And going back to giving you the point of view, John Glenda, ng defense today, hindi dumating si Vice President Sara Duterte as expected. She never appeared during the mini trial of the House Committee on Justice, or as the House calls it, a clarificatory hearing for the articles of the impeachment, the allegations. Di siya umattend doon sa ilang araw na hearing na yon. And then nung na-impeach siya, umakyat dito sa Senado ang articles of impeachment para sa pre-trial conference, hindi rin siya nagpakita. We were asking repeatedly si Attorney Powa if the Vice President would appear one of these days. Sabi niya, it's really uncertain, at ang advice nila ay dadating lang siya kung kinakailangan. And today nga, hindi siya nagpakita. But let me clarify it. Under the rights ng respondent in impeachment proceedings and even in other cases, hindi naman talaga sila required to appear all the time. And in this case, ito ay sui generis, itong impeachment proceedings. So, ang kanyang appearance ay through her lawyers. At yan nga yung pinalawanag kanina ni Attorney Sison na kaya technically hindi na nga kailangan ng arraignment dahil hindi naman na-waive yung right niya. Because sumagot naman nga siya, although ad cautelam nga, may caution, sumagot siya sa allegations, and cooperative, nagpapakita yung kanyang mga abogado. Ngayon, doon sa speech kanina ni Attorney Sheila Sison, nagtagal yon ng 16 minutes. Basically, I can sum it up by saying that she poked holes on the allegations of the House of Representatives individually. Pero ang pinaka-highlight doon ay yung sinabi niya na questions on the confidential funds. Nakita naman natin sa pre-trial brief that they are trying to put on the witness stand itong si dating DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman at dating ES Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin in relation to the confidential funds issue, which is the first articles of impeachment. Now, ang pinupunto ni kanina ni Attorney Sison ay actually si Marcos ang nag-approve ng confidential funds to begin with. But I asked Attorney Powa kanina, yes, it was the Malacanang which approved the confidential funds, but it was actually the Office of the Vice President and the DepEd which disbursed or used those funds na questionable yung disbursement ayon sa House of Representatives. Ang sabi ni Attorney Powa ay iyan ay merit, so hindi muna sila magko-comment dyan at nandyan ang trial to answer those questions. Apart from that, isa sa rin sa mga striking points, Dwight, Patrick, kanina rin, ni Attorney Sison ay yung ginamit yung term na we as a nation never forget. That is an indirect allusion to the Marcos family because the we never forget phrase is used as against or as a protest against the atrocities of the martial law under the regime of Ferdinand E. Marcos, the father of the current president. At isa rin sa mga highlight ng speech ni Attorney Sison ay yung paulit-ulit niyang paggamit ng Supreme Court 2025 ruling na nakitang unconstitutional ang articles of impeachment ng House of Representatives in 2025. In fact, sinabi niya pa nga doon na impeachment is not purely political, it's also a legal mechanism. It's an allusion also, it's an attack actually to the House of Representatives, saying that you should base your allegations, your rules, your proceedings on the available rules of court or the rule of law. Ngayon kanina ay tinanong din natin si Attorney Powa on the threshold. Sabi niya ay nirerespeto naman nila lagi daw yung desisyon ng Senado. Alam niyo, ito kasing defense, Dwight, Patrick, Glenda, John, very careful sila all the time. Aggressive sila during the closed doors, katulad kanina aggressive sila during on the floor. Pero during media interviews, careful sila and calculated yung mga sagot nila. So, hindi talaga sila masyadong sumasagot. Lagi na tinatanong, lagi nilang sinasagot sa amin, either attorney, client privilege, or sasabihin nila sub judice, which they cannot really disclose merits. But they can always actually discuss things that are not necessarily discussion of merits, but they choose not to. And lastly, sabi nila, ayun nga, they don't want to think that they got the upper hand during the first trial, but ready sila all the time. Sabi nga nila kanina, they were kind of expecting din daw na matutuloy ang presentation of evidence or testimonial evidence ng prosecution kanina with the witnesses from the House of Representatives and the National Bureau of Investigation pero hindi daw natuloy. Pero ready naman daw sila anytime. So far, hindi pa rin daw nakakausap ni Attorney Poa si Vice President Sara Duterte regarding today's developments, pero mag-uusap daw sila later on to give her updates. John Glenda.
Thank you, Jairo, Dwight, Patrick, so much to respond to. I have many questions. No? First, for Patrick, in the last few days, there seemed to be the impression coming out of the Senate that the backlash against the possibility that Chis Escudero would be presiding officer would be addressed because Win Gatchalian, the new Senate President, would be the presiding officer. So even the pretrial order signed by Chis as presiding, by Win Gatchalian as presiding officer. Was this a deliberate attempt to sort of deceive the public, protect Chis Escudero from further criticism?
I think it's not necessarily that. I think it's also a matter of the timeline. Because if you look back, nagkaroon ng medyo tight din yung naging schedule ng Senado dahil nga dun sa series of events dito sa Senado, yung kaguluhan, yung barilan, yung arestuhan, and today nga, Senator Marcoleta inaresto rin. So yeah, there's that. Also, I think the Senate majority or the Gatchalian bloc initially has a discussion or a debate kung sino ba talaga yung i-elect nila as presiding officer. So there were, according to Senator Lacson in an interview, he said na they are choosing between Senator Kiko Pangilinan, who is also a lawyer, and Senator Chis Escudero, who is also a lawyer. So according to him, meron daw parang division din among them kung sino ba talaga yung pipiliin. But then ultimately, si Senator Chis Escudero nga yung inelect nila as presiding officer despite yung public opposition nga given his yung background or on how he handled yung trial before.
Thank you. Dwight, what did the other House prosecutors think about the opening statement of Congresswoman Jinky Luistro? Any feedback from them?
Well, of course, the prosecution team is in support of the opening statement of Congresswoman Jinky Luistro. Actually, si Congresswoman Jinky, when you listen to her speak, it's quite long, pero she knows her sound bites, and the speech itself is a reminder to the Filipino public why this impeachment trial is something that should be important to them, because this is their money. This is something that a teacher, an ordinary Filipino, should monitor on a daily basis. Alam mo kanina, after kasi nung trial, ang nakausap lang natin ay si Congressman Chel at saka si former Congressman Ace, the impeachment advisor, katabi niya si Congresswoman Jinky. And they were saying na, yun nga, that they feel victorious after day one of the trial. Si Congressman Chel was also saying na parang it's too early to say naman na may nanalo o may natalo dahil nagsisimula pa lamang ang trial. So, ayun, it's kind of too early to tell, but we'll see in the coming days how the prosecution will project itself in the court. Actually, nakita lang naman talaga nating nagsalita today si Congresswoman Jinky tsaka si Congressman Chel, but it remains to be seen how prepared other public prosecutors are and how much assistance yung mapoprovide noong mga private prosecutors na tinap nila, who themselves are really, really seasoned litigators as well.
Glenda has a question for Dwight also.
Hi, Dwight. Yes. Anyway, you've covered the Quadcom and you've been in touch with the prosecutors. You think they will change tactics in a way now that they're going back to the drawing boards and they somehow they have the 16 votes, etc. Do you think there's gonna be a shift in the way they'll present, or there's more burden on their part to strengthen their case?
Well, I feel like after this, they will have to regroup, especially dahil nga may tatlong rulings on motions, tapos hindi yon favorable sa prosecution. Although, I find it difficult to imagine na hindi nila in-expect some of the rulings today. For example, yung conviction threshold. They must have seen it coming that the impeachment court won't lower the conviction threshold. I was in talks with some House insiders a week ago and narinig ko lang na pinagsabihan niya ang prosecution na maybe let's not focus on that. Let us not make that a talking point because it might signal some level of weakness from the prosecution kung sa simula pa lang ng trial we're already discussing if we could lower the conviction threshold. Also, I find it difficult to imagine that the impeachment, that the prosecutors didn't consider how Escudero will play a role in this trial, given that doong nakaraang taon nga si Escudero made decisions that seemed very favorable to the Sara Duterte camp. Although, Glenda, I would like to posit siguro another perspective on Escudero that this is an opportunity to redeem himself to the public eye. Kasi meron ding perception na maybe he'll be the same Escudero as last year, but this is an Escudero that is now facing cases of corruption, and this could be an opportunity for him to prove himself that he is a proper presiding officer. May mga discussions tayo with lawyers na si Corona, during the Corona trial, Enrile ran the impeachment court like a tight ship. And dito sa unang araw ng impeachment court, it seemed like Escudero made decisions na quick and he allowed everyone to speak, but at the same time, he knew the direction of the trial on the first day, hindi niya pinatagal. And at least tomorrow, alam natin na there's a possibility that the trial witnesses of the prosecution will already face the impeachment court.
Thank you. In a bit, we'll be going back to the press conference of the prosecution. But I do have a question for Jairo first. No? Jairo, you said, and I can see for myself, the defense counsel, they're congenial when talking to the media and so on. Pero there were 2 or 3 instances during the trial na may skirmish, I guess should we be expecting more of that in the future?
I think yes, especially that we are talking about experienced litigators, whether we like it or not. The House prosecution itself acknowledges the fact that they need the expertise of private prosecutors because they lack expertise on the area of litigation. As you know, John, Glenda, law is a very vast practice itself. Hindi porket lawyer ka, you're an expert on the other aspects of law, including litigation. Litigation is, an act on its own. It's a field of its own. It takes experience, facing the court, arguing before the court or presiding judge, and talking to other parties. That is something that Sheila Sison and her team of lawyers from Fortuna Narvasa Salazar Law Office are very experienced with, given the big cases that they've handled. Let us not forget the Fortune Narvasa Salazar. It's the same law firm that handled the Ampatuan case originally before they withdrew, and they're also the law firm that is behind big cases such as the Mighty Corporation case against the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Tax cases man ito, but they are very, very experienced with litigation, and that's what we are going to expect in the past days, given the fact that experience sila, they know what they're doing, and they're really familiar. Kita natin kanina si Attorney Sison, iniisa-isa niya yung rules of impeachment proceedings ng Senate. She did her assignment, in other words.
Maybe one last question for the 3 gentlemen. Do we already know who the witnesses are or will be for tomorrow?
Yes, I think Dwight already wrote about it, and it was already announced during the trial earlier. Originally, the House of Representatives requested to present two director and agent from the National Bureau of Investigation, Kalilong and Lotok. Sila yung nag-authenticate ng video ni Vice President Sara Duterte nung kanyang breakdown threatening the president and his family, and then the other one as yung the House official na present during sa House of Representatives nung nilak ni Vice President Sara Duterte yung sarili niya at nag-hold nga ng Zoom press conference kung saan nga ginawa niya yung alleged threats laban dito kay President Marcos at sa family niya.
At saka yung isang agent, siya yung nag-confirm during the clarificatory hearings that Sara Duterte indeed hired an assassin
yes.
to kill the president. Although syempre, yun yung malalaman natin kung na-identify ba ng NBI yung agent na yun or willing na ba silang i-identify yung assassin na yun during the trial proceedings tomorrow or on Wednesday.
Dwight De Leon, Jairo Boliedo, Patrick Cruz, thank you very much.